Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are all right. Now this again is another request video from someone else asking, please can you tell us what we can do if we have children coming into the UK for the first time from somewhere else, and what can we do to help them get used to school and make friends, because sometimes they can feel isolated and all of that because they're quite new. So I'm just going to be speaking from my experience and the things that we do that you could do to help you get your children to settle down into school or into the environment when you're just coming from overseas. Now, as I said, in schools, you have the class size is about 30. If it's a government school or county council school, it's about 30 children in a class. Now, depending on your child's personality, the kind of person your child is, some children just come and they settle into school. They're very good social wise and they just blend in and get on with everybody, and others might not, others might struggle. Now, as a parent, what can you do? You haven't really got so much control about what happens in school because you're not in school. But what you can do is you can speak to your class teacher, okay? So if you know that your child is not the type that gets to make friends easily and quickly, or your child is the shy type, or your child, because they're quite new to the system, they're a bit unsure as to what to do. Now, what you can do is you can speak to the teacher, your child's class teacher, and then tell them, oh, please, my child is just coming from another country, blah, 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 and we're not used to the system. Please, can you pair him or her with someone else in class that might be able to help them to get used to the system and everything, and making friends. Now, normally you don't need to ask as a parent. If your child is coming into school and they are new, we usually do that. We usually pair them with somebody we think that is very friendly in class, someone who we think is very kind and patient. We usually pair them with that person so that person can help them settle in quickly. And most times there's success. You see children who come in the space of 1-2 weeks, they're fine, they're making friends, and they're running around with other children. Now, but if your child is not sure, most children at that age, they're absolutely fine anyway. They will get used to the new environment quickly and will make friends. But as a parent, what you can do, as I said, is speak to your class teacher. Ask your child when they come back from school how their day went, if they were able to find friends to play with, and then gauge what you think, how your child is doing. If you think that your child is struggling, then speak to your class teacher. So you have the opportunity to do that. Most mornings, you have the teachers stood outside welcoming children and parents, and that's the time you can then speak to the teacher and say, okay, look, I think my child is struggling with friendships. Please, can you help him or her to be able to get friends to play with them and all of that. Now, if that does not work, which I think it does, I have seen it several times work. If that fails, now as a parent, you also need to be proactive. Because you are new in the system, you might not know quite a lot of what is going on. So most classes, now I say this of my school, and I think it's the same. Most classes tend to have a WhatsApp group. So you need to find out who are the admins of the WhatsApp group in your class. Then you join that WhatsApp group. So that way you can begin to interact with the other parents. Now, you as a parent, you need to be able to forge relationships with the parents in order to help your child thrive in that school. Okay, because if you as a parent, you are a bit, you are not seen as present, then your child will probably struggle as well, because by getting to meet the other parents, chat with the other parents, sometimes they might do like time away at the pub. It's okay, all the 4 parents, we're going to the pub, do you want to come with us? That's an opportunity for you to go and socialize with those parents. And then you find that the more you socialize with the parents, the more they'll begin to invite your children to things. Maybe they have birthday parties, they can invite them, and then you can then fix play dates. Okay, so another way of forging relationships here is play dates. So after school play dates. So I know that some African parents struggle with this, but sometimes you just, now I have, as a mom, I'm a mom myself with a young child in school. Although I know other parents in the school because I work in the same school as my child goes to the school, but we have a certain group of us that have forged really strong friendship, and we tend to take our children to each other's house. So in a week, You might find out that my daughter might be in each of this person's house maybe once or twice in a week, and vice versa. Okay, so that's the way you forge relationships, by letting them go out, have play dates. Maybe after the end of school, you organize, okay, you come to my house today for 1 hour or 30 minutes, and then the next day you reciprocate that play date by inviting the other child over. Okay, then no relationship is formed in 6 hours or in 5 hours, no matter how long the school day is. You need to make active choices outside of school in order to forge relationships with your children and other children. Now, because a child might be new into school and things like that, you might think, okay, they're being bullied. If you sense any bullying going on, please and please and please go straight to the head teacher of your child's school and report that case. Okay, a lot of UK schools don't take bullying lightly, and especially if the child is coming from another country. Okay, they are very, very, very strict on that, because the idea is you have to accept everyone wherever they come from, and don't be racist or don't make people feel that they're not wanted. So if you think that your child is being bullied, you need to speak to the head teacher as soon as possible so that can be sorted. But we've had children in our class, some came from Ethiopia, Africa, and within 3 weeks, you wouldn't even know that these children are new anymore, because they just got into the system. And as I said, we pair them in class. We will normally pair them with somebody who is very good and kind, to be able to take them around school, show them, tell them what to do and all of that. Now, that person might not end up becoming their friend. That person might just be a guide for them. But during break time, we also pair the child. So, okay, so please, can you play with this child to make sure that he or she doesn't feel left out, because of course we know they're new. So these are the ways, strategies. For me as a parent, I would say make sure that you get to know other parents in your children's class. Join the WhatsApp group, join in conversations. If they've got time out, they've planned some events, go in and join those events and socialize with other parents, get to know other parents, and let your children go out for play dates. Now, you may not have play dates with everyone in the class. If you you might find out that within your time there, you begin to like certain parents, or you're drawn to certain parents, then those ones you can forge deeper relationships by letting your children go for short, maybe 1 hour play dates, and then come back home. So these are ways for me. And then, of course, there are also after school activities at the end of school or outside of school. So find out which children go to after school activities. So you might have some going for drama, you might have some going for gymnastics, some going for ballet. Find out where these things are happening, and then see if you can put your child in one of those groups. So if your child likes dancing, if there's a dancing club going, or find out from the other parents, are there clubs or things like that? That is anybody going? Like sometimes when my in my child's school, so you find out some parents, oh, my child wants to go to breakfast club, but I want to be sure that there's somebody else from his class who he plays with that is going for breakfast club before I can pay for the breakfast club. So you see that parents are making active efforts to ensure that their children have friendships and relationships going on in school. So I wouldn't just put my child in a breakfast club on a random day. Now, it might be a day that works for you. Of course, the idea of the breakfast club, maybe you're going to work and you need to drop your child early. So you might not say, okay, because XYZ is not coming, I'm not going to take my child for breakfast club. No, by all means, take your child for breakfast club according to your own timetable. But you can ask, is there anybody else coming for breakfast club this week? I'd like to know, so that because my child is going for breakfast club, you might find other parents who say, okay, I will send my child on this day, on that day. This is how you develop friendships, and your child develop friendships with other children. It gets to a point that you won't even know that he or she is a new child in school. Then, of course, as I said, after school clubs, most schools have after school clubs that they do. So just ensure that your children, maybe 1 or 2 after school clubs for them. Again, that gives them time outside of the usual school 6 hours to bond with other children in the class. So it's not just because that's 6 hours in school, they're working, they've got their schoolwork, and then they have break for 1 hour. It's still not a lot of time to make friendships. It's not. So you have to then go out of your way as a parent to forge relationships in order for your child to be able to have stable relationships in school. Now, as I said, it all depends on the child. You have children who are very, very friendly. They walk into somewhere, boom, they've made thousand and one friends. And there's some children who are not. So you know your child very well. As a parent, you know your child. So have a look and think, okay, is my child going to struggle? If it is, then now I have a lot of work to do in order to ensure that the child has the friendships, forge the friendships that he or she will need to thrive in that school as a new child. Yeah, so that's that for me. These are my key steps and key things that I know and strategies that have been tried in school and that I have tried as a mom myself to be able to make sure that my child and my children have formed good friendships in school. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you've learned one or two things. And I hope you've learned one or two things. If you've got any questions, comments, leave that in the description box below. If you've got any other thing you want me to do or touch on that has to do with school and all of that, leave it in the comment section and I will address that as soon as I can. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And I will see you next week. Bye.